Elon is sounding the alarm once again, and this time it's about something that could shake up the entire planet. He's predicting that Betelgeuse, one of the largest stars in our galaxy, is about to explode in just 2 weeks. Furthermore, he's warning us that the impact could hit much closer to home than anyone thought. We're talking possible effects on Earth, specifically in parts of New York, Connecticut, and New Jersey. Scientists have been watching Betelgeuse for years, but Elon's timeline has everyone wondering, could this be the cosmic event that changes everything? Will Elon's prediction come true? And if so, what does he know that the rest of us don't? Part 1. Elon Musk's Betelgeuse revelation. Are we facing a cosmic explosion in just 2 weeks? Elon Musk has always had a way of making headlines, but this time he's got the whole world talking about something that sounds straight out of a sci-fi movie. The possible explosion of a star that could impact parts of New York, Connecticut, and New Jersey. The star in question? Betelgeuse is a red supergiant that has fascinated scientists for years. But the recent buzz comes from Musk's shocking claim that this star is about to explode in just 2 weeks, and its effects might not be as far away as we once thought. Let's start with Betelgeuse, one of the brightest stars you can see with the naked eye. If you've ever looked up at the constellation Orion, you've probably seen Betelgeuse without even knowing it. It's that reddish star marking the hunter's shoulder. But don't let its peaceful appearance fool you. This star is massive. It's about 700 times larger than our Sun, which is mind-blowing in itself. And now, according to Musk and a few other experts, Betelgeuse is on the verge of what could be one of the most spectacular events we've ever witnessed, a supernova. Elon Musk's announcement didn't come out of thin air. There's been chatter in the scientific community for a while now about Betelgeuse showing signs of instability. For years, this red supergiant has been acting strangely, dimming and brightening in unusual cycles that have caught the attention of astronomers everywhere. One of the most notable instances was in 2019 and early 2020 when Betelgeuse dimmed so dramatically that it was visible to the naked eye. This caused a lot of excitement and speculation in the scientific world, with many experts suggesting that the star might be nearing the end of its life. After all, Betelgeuse is massive and ancient, a perfect candidate for a supernova. But while scientists have been carefully watching the star, no one was expecting someone to put a specific timeline on its impending explosion, until Elon Musk dropped his bombshell. He's claiming that Betelgeuse could explode in just 2 weeks, turning one of the greatest mysteries in physics into a countdown. And Musk isn't entirely alone in thinking this. Michio Kaku, a renowned theoretical physicist, has also suggested that Betelgeuse's time could be running out soon. However, Kaku's take is a bit more cautious. While he agrees that the supernova could be imminent, he doesn't predict any direct consequences for Earth, unlike Musk, who warns of a possible impact. So what exactly does it mean for a star to go supernova? Essentially, a supernova is the death throes of a massive star. When a star like Betelgeuse runs out of fuel, it can no longer hold itself up against the force of gravity. The core collapses in on itself, triggering an explosion so powerful it can outshine entire galaxies. For a brief period anyway. When Betelgeuse does go supernova, it will likely be as bright as the full moon, possibly even visible during the day. That's pretty incredible, right? But here's where things get interesting, and a little scary, because Elon Musk isn't just saying this will be an epic light show. He's suggesting that the explosion could have direct and potentially devastating effects on Earth. In Musk's version of events, Betelgeuse's explosion could release enough radiation and energy to wreak havoc on parts of the US, particularly New York, Connecticut, and New Jersey. The idea is that gamma rays and cosmic rays, types of high-energy radiation, could blast through space and mess with our planet's atmosphere. These rays can potentially disrupt satellite communications, electrical grids, and even the health of people exposed to high doses of cosmic radiation. While this sounds like something out of a disaster movie, it's important to remember that Betelgeuse is about 640 light-years away from us. That's a pretty significant distance, which is why most scientists don't believe the explosion will pose a direct threat to Earth. But the idea of it still gets people talking, especially when someone like Elon Musk is the one ringing the alarm bells. Let's talk a little more about why Betelgeuse is such a big deal in the first place. The star is located in the Orion constellation, which has been a part of human storytelling and mythology for centuries. Its brightness and size make it one of the most easily observed stars in the night sky. For astronomers, it's also a prime candidate for studying because its size and behavior give us clues about the life cycles of stars. Unlike our Sun, which will quietly burn for billions of years before fading away, Betelgeuse is a ticking time bomb. Supergiants like Betelgeuse live fast and die young, on a cosmic scale at least. It's reached the end of its life cycle and will eventually collapse. But the question has always been, when? In late 2019, something strange happened. Betelgeuse, which usually shines brightly, began to dim. It dimmed so much that people started to notice it with the naked eye. Scientists were perplexed. Could this be the sign that Betelgeuse was about to go supernova? For a while, that was the popular theory, but then the star slowly began to brighten again in early 2020. This back-and-forth dimming behavior has only deepened the mystery surrounding Betelgeuse. While some scientists believe this could be a normal part of the star's life cycle, others think these fluctuations are a sign that its death is coming sooner rather than later. Now, we can't ignore the fact that predicting when a star will go supernova is notoriously tricky. The timeline for these things isn't exactly precise. For all we know, Betelgeuse could explode tomorrow, or it could keep chugging along for another 100,000 years. But Musk's recent claims suggest that something has changed. Maybe new data has come in, or maybe some observations haven't been fully shared with the public yet. Musk seems convinced that this isn't just a random fluctuation in Betelgeuse's behavior, but rather a sign that we're on the verge of witnessing one of the most powerful events in the universe. So, what's going to happen in the next 2 weeks, according to Musk? First, we'll probably see Betelgeuse continue its erratic dimming and brightening as the star gets closer to its final collapse. If Musk's prediction is correct, we could then witness the explosion itself. If Betelgeuse does go supernova, it would be visible in the sky for weeks, possibly even months. During this time, it would be one of the brightest objects in the night sky, maybe even outshining the moon. And while the sight would be breathtaking, there's also the potential for disruption. When a supernova occurs, it doesn't just release light, it also releases enormous amounts of radiation. Some of this radiation could reach Earth, and while the chances of it causing catastrophic damage are low, it's not impossible. Gamma rays, in particular, are a concern because they are extremely high-energy waves that can interfere with the Earth's atmosphere and magnetic field. This could lead to disruptions in satellite communications, GPS systems, and even electrical grids. If we experienced a significant surge of gamma radiation, it could knock out some of our technology, at least temporarily. Musk's claim that the explosion could destroy parts of New York, Connecticut, and New Jersey is more sensational than what most scientists expect. But the fact that he's even talking about it has people paying attention. Despite the dramatic possibilities, most astrophysicists believe that Betelgeuse's explosion, while awe-inspiring, won't directly harm Earth. Its distance from us means that much of the radiation will dissipate before it reaches our planet. That being said, the explosion could still have subtle effects on our technology and, perhaps more significantly, on our understanding of the universe. Watching a star go supernova in real time is something humanity has never experienced. It would provide a treasure trove of data for astronomers and could lead to new insights into how stars live and die. As we get closer to the supposed date of Betelgeuse's explosion, telescopes around the world will be focused on the star. Scientists are eager to gather as much data as possible, not just to verify Musk's prediction, but to understand what's happening to Betelgeuse. The event could give us an unprecedented look at the mechanics of a supernova, helping scientists refine their models of stellar evolution. It could also teach us more about how supernovae contribute to the formation of elements and the creation of new stars. Part 2. Potential Earth Impacts and Scientific Uncertainty. What Betelgeuse's explosion could mean for us. First off, let's be clear. Betelgeuse is about 640 light-years away from us. That might sound like an unimaginably vast distance, and in many ways it is. But in the grand scheme of the universe, 640 light-years isn't all that far. However, when it comes to something as powerful as a supernova, most scientists agree that we're probably far enough away to avoid any direct, catastrophic destruction. Don't get me wrong, a supernova is one of the most violent and energy-packed events in the cosmos. When Betelgeuse does finally explode, it's going to unleash an enormous amount of energy, enough to temporarily outshine entire galaxies. This explosion would release radiation, light, and particles at levels we can barely comprehend. But here's the key. Because of the sheer distance between Betelgeuse and Earth, much of that energy, especially the more dangerous radiation like gamma rays, will dissipate long before it reaches us. But here's where things get tricky, and this is probably why Musk's warning has gotten so much attention. Even though we're far enough away to avoid the worst-case scenarios, there are still some potential risks. One of the biggest concerns is gamma rays. When a star goes supernova, it releases a lot of radiation, including gamma rays, which are extremely high-energy electromagnetic waves. If these gamma rays were to hit Earth with enough intensity, they could cause serious problems. They have the potential to interact with our atmosphere in ways that could disrupt satellite communications, GPS systems, and even power grids. Musk's prediction that this explosion could cause chaos in places like New York makes more sense when you think about how much we rely on technology. If the gamma rays mess with our satellites or power infrastructure, we could experience widespread blackouts or communication failures. Now, before we all start panicking, it's important to understand that scientists don't think Betelgeuse is close enough to deliver a direct and lethal dose of gamma rays to Earth. The star is distant enough that most of the harmful radiation would lose its punch before reaching us. But that doesn't mean we're entirely off the hook. Even if the gamma rays aren't strong enough to be deadly, they could still mess with our technology. Satellites orbiting Earth are particularly vulnerable to cosmic radiation, and if they go offline, we could be looking at serious disruptions in communication and navigation systems. Think about it. So many of the things we take for granted, like GPS on our phones, weather forecasting, and even some financial transactions, rely on satellites. A sudden spike in cosmic radiation could temporarily knock these systems out of whack. On top of that, there's the risk posed by cosmic rays. These are high-energy particles that are ejected during a supernova, and while most of them get deflected by Earth's magnetic field, some could penetrate our atmosphere. The result? Increased radiation levels on the planet's surface could have subtle but real consequences. People who spend a lot of time at high altitudes, like frequent flyers or astronauts, could be more exposed to this radiation. While it's unlikely that we'd see immediate health effects, prolonged exposure to heightened cosmic radiation could increase cancer risks or cause other health issues over time. It's worth noting, though, that not all scientists are on board with the idea that Betelgeuse's explosion will have this kind of direct impact on Earth. Many experts point to the star's distance from us and say that while the light show will be spectacular, the dangers are being overblown. Even Michio Kaku, who has supported the idea that Betelgeuse's supernova could happen soon, doesn't suggest that it will cause widespread destruction on Earth. Kaku, like many other astrophysicists, acknowledges the possibility of minor disruptions to satellite communications, but emphasizes that we're generally safe from any catastrophic effects. So, how should we make sense of Musk's warning? Well, there's definitely a bit of sensationalism at play here. Musk is a master at capturing attention, and when you're talking about something as mysterious and awe-inspiring as a supernova, it's easy to get people worked up. That being said, there's no harm in being prepared for some potential fallout, especially when it comes to technology. While the chances of Betelgeuse's explosion directly harming us are slim, the possibility of satellite disruptions is very real. Scientists have been studying space weather for years, and we already know that solar flares and other cosmic events can interfere with our technology. A nearby supernova would be like a space weather event on steroids. What's really fascinating about all of this is that we're not just talking about a potential threat, we're also talking about a once-in-a-lifetime scientific opportunity. If Betelgeuse does explode, it will give scientists an unprecedented chance to study a supernova up close, at least in cosmic terms. Most of the supernovae we've observed have been in distant galaxies, so by the time the light and radiation reach us, a lot of the explosion's finer details are lost. But with Betelgeuse, we'd be able to study the event in real time, gathering data that could revolutionize our understanding of stellar evolution and the life cycles of stars. This is why so many scientists are eager for Betelgeuse to finally explode. It's not just about the spectacle, it's about the science. Observing a supernova this close would allow astronomers to refine their models of how stars die, how supernovae spread elements throughout the cosmos, and even how black holes or neutron stars form in the aftermath. Remember, supernovae are responsible for creating many of the heavy elements that make up planets, and us. The iron in your blood, the calcium in your bones, the carbon that forms the basis of all life, these elements were forged in the heart of dying stars. When Betelgeuse explodes, it will seed space with the building blocks for future stars and planets, continuing the cosmic cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. But even beyond the science, there's the cultural and psychological impact to consider. We've always been fascinated by the stars. Ancient civilizations saw them as gods or guides, and today we see them as keys to unlocking the mysteries of the universe. If Betelgeuse explodes, it could be a moment that unites humanity in awe. Imagine people all over the world, looking up at the night sky, watching the same star burn brightly for weeks on end. In a world that often feels divided, an event like this could remind us of our shared place in the universe. Of course, there's also the flip side, the fear and uncertainty that could come with such an event. When the stars we've always looked to for comfort and stability suddenly change, it can make us feel vulnerable. We like to think of the cosmos as something that operates on a scale far beyond our human experience, but a nearby supernova could bring the vastness of space uncomfortably close to home. And when someone like Elon Musk starts talking about the potential for destruction, it's easy to see why people might start to worry. Ultimately, we don't know exactly what's going to happen if and when Betelgeuse explodes. That's part of the excitement and part of the uncertainty. Scientists are closely monitoring the star, and in the weeks leading up to the expected explosion, you can bet that every major observatory on Earth will be focused on Betelgeuse. If Musk's prediction proves true, we could be in for one of the most incredible cosmic events of our lifetime. But even if it doesn't happen right away, the anticipation has already reignited public interest in astronomy and space science. Part 3. Scientific, cultural, and social implications. What Betelgeuse's explosion could mean for the world. From a scientific standpoint, Betelgeuse's explosion would be a goldmine of data, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to witness and study a supernova up close. It's like the universe is handing us one of its most spectacular secrets on a silver platter, wrapped in cosmic mystery. We've never had the chance to study a supernova so closely before. Most of the supernovae we observe are happening in galaxies millions of light years away. By the time their light reaches us, much of the finer, critical details have already faded, leaving us with only pieces of the puzzle. But Betelgeuse is different. It's close enough for us to observe in real time, offering an unprecedented opportunity to gather fresh data from one of the universe's most explosive events. Scientists would essentially have a front-row seat to this violent cosmic spectacle, and the information we could collect would be invaluable for understanding stellar life cycles. We would be able to track every stage of the explosion, from the core collapse to the shockwaves that ripple through space, and even the possible formation of a neutron star or black hole. It's a rare and fascinating opportunity to refine our models of the universe and deepen our understanding of the forces that shape it. Imagine what we could learn about stellar evolution, how stars live and die, and how supernovae contribute to the creation of the elements that make up everything from planets to human beings. When a star like Betelgeuse explodes, it releases elements like carbon, iron, and oxygen, elements that are essential to life as we know it. This process, known as nucleosynthesis, is how the universe creates the building blocks of life. By studying Betelgeuse's explosion, we'd get a much better understanding of how these elements are formed and distributed throughout the cosmos. Another fascinating possibility is the chance to observe the formation of either a black hole or a neutron star. When a massive star like Betelgeuse collapses, the fate of its core depends on its mass. If the core is heavy enough, it could collapse into a black hole, a region of space where gravity is so strong that not even light can escape. Alternatively, if Betelgeuse isn't quite massive enough for that, it could form a neutron star instead. Neutron stars are incredibly dense objects that pack the mass of several suns into a space no bigger than a city. Either outcome would be a once-in-a-lifetime chance for scientists to study these exotic objects up close. If Betelgeuse does form a black hole, we wouldn't be able to see it directly, but we could observe the gravitational waves it would produce. Gravitational waves are ripples in space-time that were first predicted by Einstein's theory of general relativity. They were only directly detected for the first time in 2015, and since then, they've opened up a whole new way of studying the universe. If we detected gravitational waves from Betelgeuse's collapse, it would give us unprecedented insights into how black holes form and what happens during a supernova. Even if Betelgeuse forms a neutron star instead, it could still give us plenty to study. Neutron stars can sometimes become magnetars, objects with magnetic fields so strong they could wipe credit cards clean from thousands of miles away. Not that this is something to worry about with Betelgeuse. Studying these magnetars could help scientists understand some of the most extreme forces in the universe and the effects of powerful magnetic fields on surrounding space. But it's not just the scientists who would be fascinated by Betelgeuse's explosion. This kind of event would have a profound cultural and psychological impact on the rest of us too. Think about how people might react to seeing a star explode, shining brighter than the moon in the night sky. This isn't just something you'd read about in a textbook or see in a movie. This would be happening in real life, and everyone on Earth would be able to see it. The sight of a star so bright it's visible during the day would be both awe-inspiring and unsettling. It's the kind of thing that could really shake up how people think about the universe and our place in it. Throughout history, people have looked to the stars for guidance, inspiration, and sometimes even comfort. The night sky has always been a symbol of stability, something constant and unchanging. So when one of the brightest stars suddenly explodes, it could cause some serious reflection. It might make us feel small and vulnerable, knowing that stars, these giant, seemingly eternal objects, are also subject to death and destruction. At the same time, it could fill us with wonder. Watching Betelgeuse explode would be a reminder that we're part of a universe that's always changing, always evolving. It could reignite humanity's fascination with the cosmos, just like the moon landing did back in 1969. There's also the psychological aspect to consider. People might start thinking more deeply about their own lives and the fragility of everything around them. A supernova is a stark reminder that nothing in the universe is permanent, not even the stars. It could prompt existential questions about life, death, and the meaning of our existence in this vast, ever-changing cosmos. In a world that often feels disconnected, this event could bring people together, creating a shared experience that crosses cultures and borders. For weeks, everyone on Earth would be looking at the same sky, watching the same cosmic event unfold. On the flip side, there's the potential for fear and anxiety. Elon Musk's warning that the explosion could affect Earth has already sparked a lot of conversations, and not all of them are grounded in science. Social media is likely to be flooded with conspiracy theories and doomsday predictions, especially if people start seeing the effects of cosmic radiation on our technology. Misinformation could spread like wildfire, and it wouldn't be surprising if people started panicking about the possibility of Betelgeuse's explosion causing global chaos. That's where science communicators like Michio Kaku and Neil deGrasse Tyson would play an important role. These are the people who would step in to explain what's really going on and calm public fears. They'd likely point out that while the explosion could disrupt satellite communications or power grids, it's not going to wipe out entire cities. The distance between Betelgeuse and Earth is still a crucial factor. As we mentioned earlier, even though a supernova is an incredibly powerful event, 640 light-years is far enough to protect us from the worst of it. And let's not forget Elon Musk's role in all of this. Musk is no stranger to creating a media frenzy, and his announcement has certainly gotten people talking. Whether or not Betelgeuse explodes in the next 2 weeks, Musk's prediction has reignited interest in space exploration and cosmic events. He's managed to capture the public's imagination in a way that few people can, blending excitement, fear, and curiosity all at once. Even if the explosion doesn't happen right away, the anticipation alone has people paying attention to the skies like never before. Looking ahead, the scientific community will be working overtime to gather as much data as possible in the lead-up to the potential explosion. Telescopes around the world and in space will be trained on Betelgeuse, ready to capture every moment of the star's collapse. Instruments that can detect everything from visible light to X-rays and gamma rays will be crucial in helping scientists understand the explosion's mechanics. The data collected could lead to breakthroughs in our understanding of supernovae, black holes, and the formation of new stars and planets. There's also the possibility that this event could spark renewed interest in space exploration. Just as the moon landing inspired a generation of scientists and astronauts, Betelgeuse's explosion could do the same for today's youth. Schools, universities, and research institutions might see a surge in interest in astronomy and astrophysics as people become more fascinated by the mysteries of the universe. Who knows? Maybe Betelgeuse's explosion will inspire the next generation of space explorers, pushing humanity to look even further beyond our planet for answers. In the end, whether or not Betelgeuse explodes in the next 2 weeks, one thing is clear. This event has reminded us of the power and unpredictability of the universe. It's a reminder that despite all our advancements in technology and knowledge, we're still at the mercy of cosmic forces far beyond our control. And yet, there's something beautiful about that too. We live in a universe that's constantly evolving, constantly creating and destroying. Betelgeuse's explosion, whenever it happens, will be a symbol of that cycle, a reminder that even in destruction, there's the potential for new beginnings. So as we watch and wait, let's keep our eyes on the skies. Whether you're a scientist looking to unlock the secrets of the universe or just someone who's curious about what's out there, Betelgeuse's explosion will be a moment to remember. It's a rare chance to witness the death of a star and the birth of something new. So, what are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below.